A mid-April polar blast is making its presence felt along the United States. You can see here the west and north central part of the United States is getting that blast of cold air, which is going to continue over the next few days with the potential for some significant snow near the Rockies and those upper elevations, which in turn can then make its way towards the northeast of the United States by the 17th, all while the southeast and Gulf Coast is dealing with this stormy season continuing today, as we can see in Louisiana, and with less than 2 months to go until the beginning of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. It only makes sense that we take a look across the Pacific at what is on the possible horizon. Let's get into it. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed. Goodness gracious. Welcome back, my friends. April 13th, 2021, 12:05 p.m. And that's right, this blast of cold air has just been very inconvenient for a lot of people, unless maybe if you're a skier and those higher elevations are going to get the snow. But with the snow comes the cold air, and many of us are just ready for spring and summer. This winter has been long enough. We want it over with, and I'm just starting to feel a little messed with. So let's take a look at this really quick before we get into the oceans and the coming hurricane season and that monster typhoon that's brewing out in the Pacific Ocean. We still have a few days before that develops, but take a look at the chart here. We're looking at our snowfall. So this cold blast has begun, as we saw in the previous chart. We're looking at the 17th. Today is the 13th, so this is a few days in advance. So we'll backtrack to the beginning of the GFS 24-hour snowfall, and this is just for snow. So we're just checking out the areas in which we think that will take place. And as we move into the 14th, we already see Colorado and the Rockies getting hit with that snow. We have areas in Canada and, of course, the Dakotas and just to the west of the Great Lakes here. So we'll move forward and we'll see where the bulk of that's going to be for the U.S. And we can see right off the bat, once again, Colorado, central part of the United States, and then the northeast as this system begins to tail off and spin up to the northern Atlantic. And for the most part, looking ahead about 4 or 5 days, this should be out of our hair by the 18th/19th. Moving on to our storm outlook, or our convective outlook chart, we can see down here by Louisiana that eastern part of Texas is in the crosshairs as far as any severe weather for today. We have the marginal area hooking on to Texas with part of the SLGT, the number 2 rank here, and then the bulk of the SLGT on the southern part of Louisiana entering the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of the big stories coming out of these storms are the size of the hail that's falling down. I haven't gotten any pictures from today, but yesterday was quite a day for hail, and we could see over the last few hours those storms brewing, more so over Louisiana, leaving Texas, and then as we can see, Mississippi, Alabama, and then the rest of the southeast will take their turn as the day continues. For those of you that are interested in the final release information about last year's storms, specifically Tropical Storm Beta, the official release notes have come out. They were actually released on the 6th, but I just attained them now. I'll go ahead and leave this link for you for those of you that want to study these storms in detail. It's basically a long PDF file that explains every single detail from start to finish in this storm's life cycle. And finally, staying on the topic of cyclones, remember the video we made yesterday explaining the difference between typhoons, cyclones, and hurricanes. All are basically the same thing, just take place in different parts of the world and spin in different directions based on the northern or southern hemisphere. Now for this, we're going to be talking about a typhoon. Now we have this set for Tuesday the 13th today, and now we're going to go ahead about 5 days. So we're going to see a lot of development take place, and the Philippines are really going to be on edge as this thing develops. Let's take a look at this as we move into the 14th and the 15th. We could see the beginning stage is basically a tropical storm. We have winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour, and we'll zoom in a little bit as we move into Friday the 16th, really starting to take shape. A lot of organization going on, and by Saturday the 17th, we could possibly have a measurable typhoon above the equator in the Pacific Ocean, beginning to hook in a northern direction. Let's move into Sunday the 18th, and now we are really starting to see some strong winds. If I go ahead and move it to the 19th, we can see that it has made its approach towards the eastern coast here and then kind of shoots off to the east a little bit. That depends on what happens over the next couple days. Those conditions may change, but take a look at the strength of this thing. 130 mile an hour sustained winds as a prediction 5 days ahead of time, so we don't want to make any solid predictions on this, but taking a look at the conditions and things like that, it's safe to say that we're going to see some type of storm brewing in the Western Pacific. And of course, if you live in this area, that is all you're thinking about. But for us over here in the United States on the West and East Coast, what it means when we start seeing typhoons is that shortly thereafter, we're going to start seeing little storms starting to pop out of Central America in the Pacific side. We're going to see little guys pop up here and maybe try to form in this area. And then eventually towards the peak of hurricane season around August, September, we're really going to see those storms start flowing off the west coast of Africa. Of course, all these things can happen sooner, especially with the early season storms we've been experiencing in recent years. Searching around the interwebs, I'm starting to see many posts from people that live in this area talking about the possibility of this storm. It is now currently 94W. Tropical Tidbits will give you any sort of information you want on the storm as it lies right now. And of course, as this thing progresses into a possible monster typhoon, I will update you all and keep you posted. I want to thank all of you that are constantly supporting this channel. It means the world to me, and I want you guys to know that the notification bell is very important. Please click that bell and make sure you get all notifications from this channel on a daily basis. And I know the cold air is taking a long time to want to disappear, but I promise some of us may be wishing for that cold to come back once we enter into the peak part of the severe weather season and then right in to the Atlantic hurricane season. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a great day. Shout out to Canada. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.